You're a freelancer. A potential client reaches out asking about your services, but they never mention their budget. You have no idea if they're looking to spend $500 or $50,000. Here's the question. Should they have known your rates before contacting you? Hey there, I'm Mark Decote, and this is the Resourceful Designer Podcast. Today, we're tackling a decision that every freelancer faces at some point: whether to display your rates publicly or keep them private. And honestly, there is no perfect answer, but let's walk through both sides. Let's start with why plenty of freelancers choose not to display their pricing. First, there's the flexibility issue. Once you publish a rate, raising it later gets awkward. Clients who saw your old price may remember it. And if you charge different rates to different clients based on their needs or budget, which is a totally legitimate thing to do in our profession, public pricing kind of locks you into a corner. Then there's the packaging problem. Not every service fits neatly into a package. Every design project has unique factors. Forcing you to work into predefined boxes requires significant planning, and that effort may not be worthwhile if each client requires customization. But the biggest concern for most freelancers is price anchoring. And here's what that means. Let's say a potential client approaches you after seeing your displayed price of, and I'll just make this up, $3,000 for a 6-page website. You show them some example sites, and they're super excited and they're really eager to move forward. Then they show you a competitor's website and say they want the same features on their site. Now, the competitor's site and the ones you initially showed them appear similar on the surface, each being a 6-page website. Therefore, the client assumes that they should cost the same. But the one you were planning on building might be something that would take you maybe 3 weeks, whereas recreating those features from the competitor's site might take 2 months or more because of hidden complexity. Since you've already displayed a price that would typically cover the lower-end site, it's incredibly hard to move the client up from there and justify a huge price difference. In their mind, they're ordering a 6-page website and you had displayed a price for that. When you don't display rates, you get to keep control of that conversation. You can scope the project first and understand what's actually involved, and then you can quote them accordingly. Now, let's look at the other side of that coin and see why you may want to display your rates. You see, when you don't display rates, potential clients have zero idea what you charge. Now, you are a designer, so it's expected that you have a professional-looking website. But believe it or not, the better your website looks, the harder it may be to attract leads. Many people just won't reach out at all. They'll assume, based on the look of your site, that professional website, that you're simply too expensive for them. Or they'll feel awkward making contact without knowing if you're in their ballpark. That's a qualified lead that never even happens. Not displaying rates adds friction to the process. A potential client must take extra steps to contact you. Then they risk an awkward conversation about budget. And for some people, it's just not worth it. They'll just move on. What's more, every inquiry that you do get will be completely unqualified from a budget perspective. You're spending time on calls and discovery conversations with people who might disappear the moment you give them a price. And here's something else. Clients with small budgets today may have bigger budgets in the future, or they may refer someone to you who has a bigger budget. But if they never reach out because they don't know your rates, you never get that chance. But what if there's a compromise? You don't have to be completely transparent or completely mysterious. Some freelancers give a ballpark range. Others list starting points, such as this type of project typically starts at X amount of dollars. And this gives a lead or a potential client an indication without actually locking you, the designer, into any sort of fixed pricing. You could offer examples of what different projects might cost without actually specifying a price. For example, you could list that a small website usually takes 2 to 4 weeks, and a more complex site might take 6 to 8 weeks. That sets an expectation of how much it'll cost without actually anchoring the clients to a specific price number. The key is to give potential clients enough information to decide whether they want to reach out. But at the same time, you maintain flexibility in how you quote based on the actual scope of work. And here's the thing that most people forget. You can still ask about budget in your discovery conversation. That's not pushy. That's just smart business. Budget is one of the first questions I ask anytime somebody reaches out. You see, understanding a client's budget, it actually helps you scope the work to match what they can actually spend. If a client comes to me with $3,000 budget for a website, I can figure out a $3,000 website for them. But if they tell me their budget is $10,000, then in my mind, I can design a $10,000 website for them. So having that conversation up front is very important. And if their budget is too low, then you can follow the advice that I gave out in episode 356 on how to handle low budget clients with grace. Because you never know, a low budget client now may turn out to be the perfect client in the future. Now, there's something worth mentioning here. In our industry, the design industry, there's been a growing trend of freelancers publicly shaming clients for low budgets. They're sharing screenshots of conversations, they're making jokes, the whole thing. I've seen this online. And these designers are exposing clients who are asking for like $50 logos or $500 websites. And I understand the frustration with those clients. But here's the reality. We all charge different prices. A low budget to you may be perfectly normal for someone else. If freelancers in our field can't agree on what we should charge, then we can't expect clients to know that either. That's not fair to them. And when we publicly shame potential clients, we're not just being unkind. We're actually damaging the entire freelancing industry. How many design agencies have ever published client correspondence like that? None, I would assume, because it comes across as unprofessional and reflects poorly on the entire freelance industry. So yes, it may be frustrating when a client comes to you with a very low budget. Just let it go. There's no need to shame the client, especially publicly. The solution here isn't to judge clients for their budget. It's to communicate clearly with them up front. Now, here's what actually matters in this whole thing. Lowering the barrier for good potential clients to reach out to you. Some of those people that reach out won't be a fit, and that's okay. But some of them will be great clients who just didn't know if they could afford you. Now, whether you decide to display your rates or not, ask yourself this. Am I making it easy for the right people to contact me? Am I communicating clearly enough to avoid confusion? And if you choose not to display your rates, which is perfectly fine, at least give hints. Maybe include a budget range on your contact form, or maybe a starting price mentioned somewhere. Something, anything. And if you do choose to display your rates, don't lock yourself in completely. Again, give ranges. Use language that shows flexibility. Make it clear that every project is different and the prices may vary. The goal is the same either way. It's to attract the right client and make their lives easier. The reality is that freelancers from all around the globe handle this differently. Some decide to display their rates, some don't. Some use contact forms with budget questions. Some mention a starting price but leave room for negotiation. There's no universal right answer because every freelancer's business model is different. Your working methods matter. Your client type matters. Your niche matters. What works for one freelancer might be completely wrong for another, and that's okay. So here's what I want you to think about. What's your actual concern about displaying rates? Is it about the flexibility? Is it about control? Price anchoring? Is there something else? And once you identify what's actually working for you, you can figure out a solution that addresses that specific concern without creating new problems. Maybe you display a range. Maybe you list examples. Maybe you keep it private but drop hints in your contact form. Maybe you have a discovery call before any pricing talks. There is no perfect system, but there is a system that works for you and your business. And the only way to find it out is to be honest about what you're trying to accomplish. And this is what Resourceful Designer is all about. It's about helping you make smart decisions about how you run your business so that you can focus on what you do best, which is creating amazing work. And whether you're deciding on pricing strategy, client communications, or anything else, the goal is to remove friction and make things clearer for everyone involved. And if you're looking for more practical advice on running a design business, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening. I drop new episodes every week, and they're all designed to help you streamline operations and get back to designing. And if you want one-on-one help, consider joining the Resourceful Designer community, where conversations like this are encouraged. Visit resourcefuldesigner.com/community to learn more. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, remember to stay creative.